as tech analysts like to say, double clicking down into the role NVIDIA will play. I mean, Thor as compute is going to be critical to Neuro in terms of what they're doing. The Thor is like, talk about a supercomputer. I mean, I don't know. We don't have much information on exactly how much compute's in a Waymo or where the newest Teslas are going to come out. Is this overkill? I mean, everything we've learned about is that models should get smaller and use less compute. And I think Jay-Z at Neuro has the belief that these models are only going to get bigger, not smaller, in terms of in the world of autonomy. Where do you come out on this?
Models are going to become more specialized at the end of the day. And as the models evolve, the power requirements will drive down and be less power requirements. Does NVIDIA always have a monopoly for cars? No. I have a lot of really good feelings in doing research where the Qualcomm Snapdragon digital chassis could play a role. You could have somebody that could develop something on an ARM chip structure. So there's a lot of change coming to that market. I do not believe that the NVIDIA de facto monopoly will hold over the long term.
We'll see, but in the meantime, NVIDIA, I think, probably wants to do more than just compute and add to the stack, go to modules, do sensor suites or whatever it is. So if that's the case, if what you're suggesting is the case, do we come back to a world where maybe NVIDIA does more than just invest in autonomy technology, but starts to own some of that as well?
My honest opinion, NVIDIA is going to have to go vertical at some point if they really want to conquer a big chunk of the autonomous driving market.
So if they go vertical, then does that negatively impact their ability to sell, some of this product? I mean, I guess at one point Qualcomm made their own phones and then they sold their own chips, and then people didn't want to use them because, they were getting the licensing on the chips, they were selling the chips, and then they were selling phones. So there has been places where you've been vertically integrated and still are able to sell the chips if your chips are still the best on the market.
I believe they still will be able to sell them. Obviously, NVIDIA really has a clear desire for autonomous driving. They have a division inside of automotive. They just invested in WeRide. They've made several other investments in there, which raises the question, if they do want to vertically integrate, does NVIDIA buy Neuro? Does NVIDIA buy Wave and then license that out and leverage their chip structure to try and drive revenue there? Because let's be honest, NVIDIA needs a new source of revenue growth after data centers.
I know we have a lot of people that love Elon out there, and Grayson and I think are indifferent. We're not lovers, we're not haters, but there is a lot of love for Jensen. So if they actually did buy Neuro, Wave, whatever, they increase the vertical stack. I would liken that to like whenever Elon gets into a space, every stock in that space and the ability to get financing from any competitor to Elon gets put immediately in doubt. So if NVIDIA went that route, would that be a huge negative in terms of the ability of the remaining players to get financing, to do the funding that's required for them to get their technology off the ground and on OEMs?
No, it would just validate it, because a lot of the investments that come from NVIDIA are paid for in chips, not in cash. Big difference there.
I know, but if they're vertically integrated where they become the actual seller of the technology, that presents a much formidable, like if Neuro is now owned by NVIDIA, no offense to Neuro, really smart people, great product, but the credibility of that company goes up tenfold.
100% agree with that.
So if you're a competitor then to Neuro or whoever NVIDIA may or may not purchase, it's going to be just hard. The risk factors to you go up, so your ability to raise capital gets more difficult. So it's not. I don't know, dude. I think that's not exactly great for the. It's great for us, right? In terms of like having a part. I'd rather have NVIDIA. I think investing, partnering, maybe increase the stack a little bit, but not really deep in the stack in terms of what they're selling to the end customer or to the OEMs.
Look at cloud. Google Cloud Compute. Autonomous driving companies run on Google Cloud Compute. Look at AWS. Autonomous driving companies run on AWS. There's a lot of overlap and a lot of competition in the market.